All right, I think we're live. What's happening, YouTube? Welcome to this live stream Q&A webinar about getting your ex back. And specifically, I'm going to be talking a lot about messaging your ex, texting your ex. Now, when I say texting your ex or messaging your ex, I mean just messaging or texting by any means. You know, like it could be a Facebook message, Instagram message, Snapchat, whatever. So that's what I mean when I say texting. It doesn't have to be an actual SMS or whatever. So I got a poll up in the chat. Please go ahead and vote in that. I'm asking you guys, when was your breakup? I'm actually just curious to see, what kind of situations you guys are in. So it looks like right now I've got quite a few votes already, 50, I think. Looks like a lot of people who have broken up quite some time ago. And then 30% within the past 2 months. That's cool. So I'll come back to that poll when more people have a chance to vote. Also, two other things you can post in the chat. Number one, of course, ask your questions, because in about 10 minutes, I'm going to start going through some of the questions that you guys leave in the chat. And I've also got some pulled here. My video guy, Mike, who's just sitting off the camera here, he's a little shy, but he's going to put your questions on a Google Doc on this iPad for me, and I'm going to answer them. So throw your questions in the chat, and I will get to them in a little bit. Make sure you try and keep them as brief as possible, because, I don't want to read an essay before I can actually answer it. So keep it brief, and that will increase your chances of having your question answered. The other thing you can do in the chat is let me know where you guys are from. We did this on our last live, and it's really cool to see how many countries and places around the world people are from. So let me know where you're from, and let me know what time it is there too. It is 3 p.m. here in British Columbia. So Mike is adding some questions here. That's great. Now, before I get to the questions, and while you guys mention where you're from and vote in the poll, I'm just going to talk a little bit about some of what I call the 10 commandments for messaging your ex. So basically, these are 10 guidelines that should sort of direct all your messaging to your ex. So I'm going to go through those in just 1 second. Let's see where people are from here. Let's see what we've got. India, hello. Tampa, Sweden, California, Belgium, Mississippi, Philippines, Oregon, Texas, Wisconsin, UK, 11 p.m. Thanks for staying up. People where it's the middle of the night where you are, thanks for coming in. All right, looks like we got some questions coming in as well. But let's start by talking about the 10 commandments for messaging your ex. Now, these are just rules that you really always want to follow when you are messaging your ex, regardless of your situation, assuming you want them back anyways. So when this video is over, I will post these commandments in the video description. Once this live stream turns into a regular YouTube video, then you can go there and see these commandments in the description in case you forget any of them or want a reminder. So the first commandment for messaging your ex is never spam your ex. Now, this is probably the most important one. And if you guys are going to take anything away from this live stream, please remember not to spam your ex. So when I say spam your ex, what I mean is basically repeatedly send them messages, even when you're not getting responses or the responses aren't, as good or as positive as you hope them to be. You gotta really wait. After you've tried maybe twice with two different kinds of messages, two different angles, you need to wait. You really don't want to be bugging your ex, messaging them multiple times a day, especially if they're not receptive to your messages or they're just ignoring them altogether. So that's rule number one, never spam your ex. Rule number two, commandment number two. This one's also really, really important, and that is have a real reason to be contacting your ex. So don't just, say, hey, what's up? How are you? That is boring. It doesn't accomplish anything, and it really doesn't do anything for your situation. It just sort of uses up a text that you could have done something more with. So always have a good reason. It can be, something as silly as, I've used this example before, but you're planning a trip to Spain in the summer, and you want your ex's advice on, where to stay or whatever. Just come up with some kind of legitimate sounding reason to send them a message. So that could, it could be just because you saw a funny TikTok and you wanted to share it with them, or, tell them, an update on some situation that you guys talked a lot about while you were together. Just whatever it is, always try to have a real reason to be contacting them. Commandment number 3, no drama. Now, this one's really important too. A lot of people tend to get dragged into serious discussions or arguments, bickering matches, that kind of thing, with their ex over text or over messages. And really, I mean, regardless of the means of communication, you don't want any drama. You don't want to be talking about serious stuff related to your relationship right now. You don't want to remind your ex of some of the problems that led to the breakup. So really just no drama, keep it fun, keep it interesting, and don't let your ex sort of drag you into any kind of argument or drama. That's commandment number 3. Commandment number 4, keep it brief. Just don't send long, multi-paragraph messages to your ex. Just keep them really short. Make it seem like, you don't really care if they respond or not. Just keep it, as simple as possible. Commandment number 5, inject humor. This one's obviously pretty self-explanatory, but humor and just making your ex smile is really important. You want them to remember, why they dated you in the first place. You want to make sure that any texting exchanges are positive and interesting for them. So don't be afraid to use humor. Just keep it light, make them smile, that kind of thing. That was commandment number 5. Let me go back to the chat here for just 1 second and see what else we've got. Hello from Malaysia. Hello, Ohio. What time it is in Malaysia? It must be sometime early in the morning. Ohio, LA, Georgia, Vancouver. Hello, neighbor. Hope you didn't drown in the floods yesterday. I don't know if you guys heard, but here in British Columbia, we've had some crazy rain the past few days. We've had massive flooding, highways collapsing, things like that. So, okay, let's move on to commandment number 6 for messaging your ex. Don't be mean. Now, again, pretty self-explanatory, but if you do want your ex back, there's really no benefit to being harsh or mean or insulting your ex or anything like that. So, even if they're being a dick and you're not happy about it, try to keep from being mean. Just be nice. Not too nice, but definitely don't be mean or insult your ex at all. Commandment number 7, don't ask if they're dating somebody new. It's pretty obvious, but really you don't want your ex to feel like these messages and these conversations that you're having with them are simply because you want them back. So, you just leave any kind of questions about their dating life out and just stick to the fun, positive kinds of conversations for now. Hello from Regina, Saskatchewan. Hello, 7 a.m. in Malaysia. Good morning. Let's see what else we got here. Commandment number 8. We just did 7, right? Yeah. Commandment number 8, don't show your emotions. Now this one it's really tough for a lot of people. They miss their ex like crazy. They are feeling down in the dumps because of the breakup. You really don't want to give those kinds of vibes to your ex. You want your ex to think that you're just everything's great. You're happy. You're thriving since the breakup. So don't tell them how sad you are, how depressed you are, how crappy your life is now that they're gone. You just really want to kind of shelter those emotions from your ex and act happy. Commandment number 9, be the one to end the conversation most of the time. Now, some people think this is manipulative, but really, basically all I'm saying is in most conversations with your ex, you want to be the one, or your ex should be the one that sends the last message. So basically, you're not going to respond to one of their messages, and that's going to be the end of the conversation. People think it's manipulative because, you're sort of using mind games to try and shift the balance of power between you and your ex into your favor. But that's just a general rule. You want to be the one who ends the chat. You want to be sort of in command about when and how you and your ex communicate. And finally, commandment number 10, never be too quick to reply. So you really don't want to seem overeager. You don't want your ex to think that you're sitting around staring at your phone every 2 minutes waiting for them to text you. So feel free to wait 2 hours, 4 hours, even till the next day to respond to some of their messages, just so they know that you're not sitting at their beck and call, and that you're not super eager to get back together and to hear from them. So yeah, never be too quick to reply. That is all 10 commandments. Let me just quickly go through them again. Number 1, never spam your ex. Number 2, have a real reason to be contacting them. That's really important. Number 3, no drama, no arguments. Number 4, try to keep it brief as much as possible. And that also includes, you don't have like a 3-hour, 100 messages back and forth conversation, unless it's really, really going well and they seem super engaged. Generally, just keep your messages brief and keep your conversations brief. Number 5, inject humor. Number 6, don't be mean. Number 7, don't ask if they're dating again. Number 8, don't show your emotions. Try to act happy. Number 9, try to be the one to end the conversation a lot of the time. And number 10, never be too quick to reply. All right, so that is the 10 commandments for messaging your ex. And I think Mike has put some comments or questions here from the chat. You guys feel free to ask them, by the way, in the chat. Go ahead and post them, and he will put them on the iPad here for me to answer. We've also got, I think you pulled some from Instagram as well, my Instagram account. Please follow me if you haven't already on Instagram, at Breakup Brad Browning. Those are some from Facebook too. Maybe a couple. Anyways, let's get into some of these questions now, because that's probably why most of you are here. So go ahead and ask your questions, and we will start with a few of the ones that Mike has pulled from here. All right, so let's see here. All right, let's start with one here from Kelsey. I think this one is from YouTube. Now, Kelsey asks, my ex messaged me like 10 times last week and said he misses me and regrets hurting me by breaking up, and he seemed really affectionate. But now he doesn't reply to my messages anymore, or he seems like he doesn't want to talk when he does respond. I texted him 3 times on Sunday and again yesterday, and still no reply, or he always seems cold. What does it mean? Thanks for the question, Kelsey. So basically what you're describing is sort of a hot and cold type of behavior from your ex, where sometimes he seems really affectionate, really wants to engage with you, and then other times he just sort of ignores you or doesn't seem interested in talking. This kind of hot and cold behavior is super, super common. A lot of the time what it means is just, your ex, when they seem really affectionate, when they seem like they really want to talk, they're by themselves, they're thinking about the breakup, they're missing you, and so they really want to reach out at that kind of time and hear from you. So that's when they give you the warm treatment, the hot treatment. And then other times when they're busy, or they're with their friends, they're not feeling so depressed about the breakup at that point, then they'll just ignore you, or they'll seem cold and indifferent. So it is really, really common. What does it mean? It's usually a good sign for your chances of getting them back, because it means at least some of the time, they're missing you and they're wishing that they could talk with you. So it is usually a good sign. As I said in the first commandment we talked about already, you really, you don't want to be spamming your ex. So if you don't get a response, if they're in one of those cold phases and you're not hearing back, just stop for a while. Give it another week or so before you reach out, or even a few days, depending on the situation. And just make sure that, you don't try too hard to engage with your ex when they don't seem into it or they're not responding. You really, in general, you want to control the conversation and make sure that your ex doesn't feel like you're desperate to get them back, or that you're waiting around to hear from them. So Kelsey, thanks for the question. Basically, I guess my answer is it's probably a good sign, but wait a little while before you try reaching out again. Make sure that you give them some time and space. Thank you for the question. Let's see what else we got here. Glad to see you live, Brad. Glad to see you as well. Thanks for joining. Here's one from the Fishing Fraternity on YouTube. And he says, "Hi, Coach. What do I do if my ex reaches out frequently during no contact? Her texts don't mention anything about getting back together, but just normal text and sometimes random stuff. I just reply with short yet polite and disciplined text, but I never initiate any contact after the texting ends." Okay, so your ex is reaching out frequently during no contact, and she's not talking about getting back together. Well, it's definitely a good sign, Mr. Fishing Fraternity, that your ex is reaching out, even if it's not about getting back together and just sort of random stuff. Definitely a good sign. Because you're during no contact, obviously, you really don't need to respond unless it's something that's going to make you seem like an asshole for not responding to, or if they start to get angry because they keep messaging you and never hear back. But generally, yeah, if you're still in no contact, you want to try to avoid messaging them back too much and just sort of keep your distance. Once no contact is over, you can go ahead and respond and engage more often. And I do have a video actually on things to say to your ex and how to deal with your ex at the end of the no contact period. So check my channel for that. Thank you for the question, Mr. Fishing Fraternity. Let's see what else we've got. Can a person be engaged and still feel something for his ex? Thank you, Brad. That's from Spencer, I think, in the chat. Well, Spencer, yes, they can. A person can be engaged. I assume you mean engaged to someone new, like as in engaged, going to get married, kind of engaged. In that situation, sure, your ex could feel something for you, but if they're engaged to somebody new, it's probably been a while since you break up. It's probably time to think about moving on. Sorry, Spencer, and good luck. Okay, let's see what else. Brad, what should I do if she blocked me after the breakup? This is a common question that I get a lot. If your ex blocks you after the breakup, I assume you mean blocked on social media, or Snapchat, Instagram, whatever, or even you blocked your number from texting. In that kind of situation, unfortunately, there's not a lot you can do. It's basically a sign from your ex saying, give me some time and space. And you really need to respect that. So if your ex has blocked you, don't try to get around it by messaging them through some other means that they haven't blocked you on, that kind of thing. Wait at least throughout the full 30 days of no contact before you try to get around them blocking you and try to message them some other way. Try to respect their wishes. Yeah, it's a tough situation. What I've found in my experience is most of the time your ex is going to unblock you on their own. They're doing it probably, at least in most situations, because they don't want to be tempted to get back together with you. They've decided logically, rationally that getting back together is not the right choice, and they want to make sure that they have the willpower and self-discipline to stick to the breakup. So a lot of people will just block their ex so they don't have any temptation to talk to them and eventually get back together. So it's a tough situation to be in, but there's not a lot you can do about it. At least not until you finish 30 days of no contact, and basically use no contact to respect their wishes to not hear from you. Thank you for the question, Enzik. Here's a related one from Pradeep. After the breakup, she texted me day before yesterday. She blocked me and unblocked me and texted me. I am thinking about moving to Armenia. What do I do now, sir? Thank you for the question, Pradeep. If I understand correctly, you're saying that she texted you one day and then she blocked you the next, and then she unblocked you and texted you again. To me, this sounds like the kind of situation I just talked about, where she probably, thinks logically that breaking up was the right choice and she really wants to stick to it. But she also doesn't have the willpower, the self-discipline to actually just stay blocked and not reach out to you. So in that kind of situation, well, Pradeep, if you haven't done a period of no contact yet, that's your first task, basically. Just keep your distance for a little while. And good luck with your move to Armenia. Thanks for the question. All right, let's see what else we got here. I have not contacted my ex in 6 months. Will he come back to me? That's from Karina on Instagram. Unfortunately, Karina, to be honest, if you've not contacted your ex and he hasn't contacted you in 6 months, that's a long time to have absolutely no contact and still get back together. I would say the odds are pretty low. At this point, you're probably more than safe to reach out. My suggestion would be to at least, sort of test the waters, gauge how he's feeling by sending him a message, something fun and interesting. Just see what kind of response you get. But also, be realistic about whether this is actually going to work out, because the odds are probably pretty low. If you want to, get a better gauge of your chances of getting him back, take my quiz, breakupbrad.com/quiz and see how you score. That'll help you figure out whether it's ever going to happen. But in that kind of situation, it's looking pretty grim. So good luck, Corina, and thanks for the question. All right, let's see. These are good questions. Mike, keep them coming, man. Let's take a look at our poll here. Got 191 votes on my poll. 17% have broken up in the past 14 days. That's great. For those of you in that 17% who've broken up in the last 2 weeks, I'm glad you were able to find my channel and seek out some advice early on, because that gives you a big advantage, and it makes your odds of getting them back a lot higher if you start doing the right things early on after the breakup. And we got 32% who broke up in the past 2 months, 19% in the past 6 months, and then 30% more than 6 months ago. Now, I mean, if it's been more than 6 months since the breakup, you may still have a chance of getting them back. It's just that the longer the time since the breakup, especially if the relationship wasn't particularly serious or didn't last long, it's obviously going to reduce your chances, unfortunately. But as I often say to my coaching clients, you never have to close the door on the possibility of getting back together. So even if it's been a year since your breakup, you do want the sex back. You should be ready to move on, be moving on, be dating again. But also, you don't need to close the door to the possibility that you might get back together down the road. So don't lose all hope, but at the same time, make sure you do accept that you may need to move on. All right, let's see what else we've got here. Here's one from Pat. She has not changed or removed me as her relationship on Facebook. Is this good? Thank you for the question, Pat. Honestly, it's probably not good news or bad news. This is the kind of question, this is the kind of thing where you're sort of probably overthinking it a bit if you're trying to read, anything into her not changing her relationship status on Facebook. Maybe in some situations it might be a good sign because she doesn't want the awkward embarrassment of having to, change it back again if you do get back together. But in reality, probably she just forgot, doesn't know that she's set you as her partner on Facebook. So I wouldn't read too much into it, but it's definitely not a bad sign. So thank you for the question, Pat. Appreciate it. All right, what else we got here? Here's one from Fennec on YouTube. Brad, my ex-girlfriend, and I were talking to each other over social media, and she says she just wants me to hold her again, even though she's the one that left me. Is this a good thing? Yeah, definitely a good thing. I wouldn't get too eager and respond, like, yeah, I want to hold you too. I miss you, blah, 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 blah. Just sort of don't be too eager. But yeah, it's definitely a good sign. Like we talked about earlier, it's possible it's one of those hot and cold things. She misses you, she wants you back, so she's saying those kinds of things, but may still, believe that breaking up was the right choice for her. So yeah, overall, it's a positive sign. Thank you for the question, Fennec. Let's take a look at the chat here. Let's see where else people are from. Lebanon, Georgia. Cool. I said this on my last live stream a few months back, but one of my favorite things about this job is getting to talk to people from, I think, 130 plus countries now I've had clients from. So super interesting to get to talk to people from around the world. Unfortunately, they've all been through a breakup recently, but it is very cool to just interact with people from all over the world. All right, next question. Let's see what we got here. Here's one from Instagram. Legam. Sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. I have no idea how to pronounce some of these names. But this person says, I said cruel words to my ex. Now he blocked me everywhere. How do I fix this? Well, we've already sort of covered what to do when your ex blocks you. In that kind of situation, if you do have a way that that you can still get in touch with them, such as, maybe they blocked your phone number, but they didn't block you on Instagram, you could send them an Instagram message and just say, hey, I just wanted to let you know that I'm sorry about what I said earlier. I think I was just feeling emotional and lashed out, but I'm sorry, and I wish you all the best, that kind of thing. That's really one of the only situations where you should try to get around your ex blocking you. Generally speaking, you want to just respect the block. But yeah, if you do feel like you really need to apologize and you have a way through some other means to communicate that to them, then go for it. Thank you for the question, Ligam. All right. Brad, this is from Ego Waffles 229. Brad, can I get your coaching for 1 month only? Need your help real bad because I miss my ex like crazy and I need him back. Help. Well, Ego Waffles 229, thank you for the question. Thank you for your interest in working with me. Yes, you can get coaching for 1 month only. If you want to sign up for coaching, breakupbrad.com/coaching is the URL. You can see all the details and sign up. I think I have a few spots available right now. If you just want 1 month, normally my coaching is an ongoing subscription. If you just want to sign up for 1 month, that's totally fine. All you need to do is register for the subscription at breakupbrad.com/coaching. And then in your first email to me, when you send me the details of your situation, tell me you'd like to cancel in that first email, and then I'll just cancel it and make sure that you don't get charged for a second month. So yeah, breakupbrad.com/coaching, and you can sign up and cancel right away, and then you'll just get 1 month. Thank you for your interest. I appreciate it. All right, what else we got? What should I do when we both agreed to keep our meetups as friends, but he makes a move and kisses me? And that is from Swampy Cakes. Thanks for the question. First thing I should say is I don't recommend being friends with your ex. I don't recommend agreeing to being friends with your ex, at least not if you want them back and it hasn't been a very long time since the breakup. So Swampy Cakes, yeah, generally speaking, that's not something that I would recommend. If he's made a move and kisses you, that's a great sign for sure. Without more detail, it's hard to give you any really good concrete advice other than to say just sort of don't give him what he wants. So like, you really don't want to sleep with him or allow yourself to fall into a friends with benefits kind of situation. So if it seems like all he's looking for is the physical side of the relationship, but doesn't want to actually commit to being in a relationship with you, then my suggestion is to not give him what he's looking for, to make sure that you withhold that so that he has a reason to get back together and that he understands that breaking up means losing you from his life, and that includes the physical side, the sex. So yeah, if you want a more detailed answer about your situation, please consider signing up for coaching, and I'll learn more about it and we can talk. Thank you for the question. All right, what else we got here? Okay, here's one from Sean. I think this one's on Instagram. Sean says, I texted my ex, remember when you said I deserve better? You're right, take care. Before I started no contact 2 days ago. I'm just wondering if that was too mean and I need to send an apology. I've just always been the one more interested and I don't want to come off as weak. Please, thank you. Thanks for the question, Sean. Yeah, I mean, that's not something I would really recommend saying. It is a little bit harsh, but I don't think you really need to apologize. And I certainly don't think you need to break no contact after just a couple of days in order to apologize. Remember, assuming that your ex was the one who dumped you, then the breakup was their choice, and you're essentially just giving them what they want by not talking. So, yeah, no, I would say no. You don't need to send an apology, at least unless your ex, you're certain your ex is going to be really offended by that. But yeah, generally, I would say no need to apologize. Thank you for the question, Sean. All right. Here's one from Nicole. My ex left 5 months ago for a new fling. She just left him. Will he try to reach out to me? Honestly, I'm sorry. I left my crystal ball at home, so I can't tell you for sure what he's going to do. It is a good opportunity to try and sort of reinsert yourself into his life. Give him an option of getting back together with you as a way to sort of numb the pain of the breakup that he's just gone through with this new person. So yeah, I mean, it is a an opportunity, if there's a chance that you could use this to get him back. If you haven't contacted him for a while, and it's already been obviously 5 months since the breakup, you can probably safely reach out. So yeah, I would just try reaching out with a fun, quick text, just something, funny or interesting, and see how he responds, and just take it from there. You're going to definitely need to rebuild some rapport and just sort of rebuild the connection. So don't just, immediately reach out and say, hey, I heard you broke up with your new girl. Let's get back together. Just start slow and with something fun and nonchalant, and just take it from there. Yeah. Thank you for the question, Nicole. All right. How much is your coaching? My coaching is $97 a month. And like I said, you can cancel whenever you like and make sure you don't get charged further. And I do have a couple slots available right now. So at least I did when I checked an hour ago. So breakupride.com/coaching, $97 a month if you want to sign up and work with me one-on-one. Let's see what else we got here. Hi, Brad. Texting is the worst. Yeah, I don't think I agree with that, generally speaking. Texting, if you want your ex back and you're trying to get them back, then texting is actually probably the best way to communicate with them, at least initially. It's low pressure. It doesn't make them feel like they have to respond to you right away. Yeah, it could be difficult. I definitely agree with that, but it's the worst. It's probably the best way to communicate with your ex, or at least lead to in-person meetups. All right. Here's one from Victoria. Any advice if he asks for friendship? I walk away because he doesn't step up, but now we rarely talk. Thank you. So in this kind of situation, really my question for you is, do you want to be friends with him if you can't have him back? I'm assuming for most people on this video right now, the answer to that is no. Because really you can't be friends with your ex if you do want them back, because that way they get all the benefits of sort of still being with you without the pressure to actually commit to a real relationship. So if he asks for friendship and you want him back, then I would just, generally speaking, recommend you say that. I'm not really interested in being friends right now because it's going to make it even harder for me to move on. So I think we should go our separate ways, and maybe down the road we can be friends someday. But generally, basically, you need to make sure that your ex knows they can either have you back in a real relationship or they can't have you at all. So don't fall into the friend zone trap if you can avoid it. It sounds like you've already handled things well. So yeah, good luck. Thanks for the question. All right, what else we got here? Sally says, I feel like time doesn't matter. My parents split before I was born for a few years, and once they reconciled years later, they've been married ever since. Well, Sally, that's a great story. I'm happy to hear that worked out. And sometimes it does happen. I've seen, I'm trying to think, what was the record for my coaching clients as to how long they were apart and still got back together, but definitely many years, 5+ years. It does happen. But generally speaking, it's very low percentage, unlikely. But yeah, it definitely does happen. And time, in some situations, time can actually be helpful to some extent because it allows your ex to forget about some of the negatives. It allows them to date other people and realize what a strong connection that they had with you. So yeah, sometimes time can be not an issue, and you can still get back together after 5 years and be happily married ever since. What else we got here? And if I haven't answered your question, please try asking it again a few minutes later. Sometimes Mike will miss some of these questions because the chat goes really quick. So if I haven't answered your question after 5-10 minutes, please just post it again, and maybe Mike will see it and put it on the iPad for me to answer here. Michael says, how do you recover after you pleaded for another chance? Good question, Michael. That's another one that I get pretty regularly. I have made a video on this. I think it's called How to Get Your Ex Back After Begging and Pleading. Generally speaking, the best way to undo that kind of thing is to just give them lots of time and space. Go through a period of no contact if you haven't already, and just make sure that they understand that you're not, that desperate anymore, and that, that kind of pleading was just an emotional thing that happened right after the breakup. But, now you're past that. You're not willing to plead or beg for them back. But yeah, Michael, search for begging and pleading on my channel here on YouTube, and check out that video that I made specifically about that topic. All right. Charles from LA, thanks for your videos. Thanks for responses to my posts and your videos too. Thanks for subscribing and commenting on my videos, Charles. I appreciate it. And I do always try to answer as many comments on my YouTube videos as possible. And if you're a spammer, then please go ahead and leave a comment so that I can ban you. All right. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but a lot of my YouTube videos have spam from people who are promoting magical African spell casting to get your ex back, just bogus crap like that. So yeah, if you see one of those comments on any of my videos, saying this magic spellcaster will help you get your ex back, please report them. I will delete them if YouTube doesn't automatically. All right, what else do we have here? Hello from Regina, Saskatchewan. Hello, Detref. All right. Here's one from Mendy. Hi, Coach. I'm from Kenya in Africa. Hello. And I've been following your videos, and today it helped me so much. Thank you. Thank you. What time is it in Kenya? Early morning? No, probably middle of the night. Kenya, it's a place I'd love to go someday. Love to do a safari. Let's see what else. Here's one from Kyokan. I'm 2 weeks into no contact and she randomly unadded me on everything. What does this mean? I'm not sure what unadded means. Does that mean, I guess maybe she unfriended you, unfollowed you, but not blocked? If you're 2 weeks in, it probably doesn't mean anything. I wouldn't read too much into it. Like I said earlier in the video, where sometimes it's because they don't think they have the self-restraint, self-discipline to actually stop themselves from contacting you, or they don't want to see updates from you and be reminded of you because it'll just bring back emotions for them. So those are some situations where they might unadd you or unfriend you, but generally speaking, I wouldn't read too much into it. Doesn't mean you're never going to get them back. Yeah, generally speaking, a lot of people tend to overanalyze things like this, and usually speaking, it's not usually helpful. So, yeah, if they unfriended you, that's okay. Doesn't mean you can't get them back. Right. Here's one from Miss Cutie Pie. I've heard from another breakup coach that 30 days of no contact isn't needed for long distance relationships because the couple is already apart. Well, to be honest, if you're talking about another breakup coach on YouTube, most of the breakup coaching channels on YouTube are just copying me and my older videos. So generally speaking, most of the advice from those channels is actually pretty good because they've just watched my videos and rehashed the same ideas. But in this case, I would say that I disagree with that. No contact is definitely required, even in a long distance relationship, at least unless there has been, a lot of contact or a lot of periods of not speaking to one another since the breakup already. But otherwise, no contact it shouldn't matter whether it's long distance or not. It's still important. In some situations, you can get away with a shorter period of no contact than 30 days. But yeah, if you want to talk more about your specific situation, I can maybe give you some better advice if you sign up for coaching at breakupbrad.com/coaching. But yeah, no, I think no contact is important in almost every situation, including long distance. So be careful taking advice from whoever that person is who said that. Thank you for the question, Miss Cutie Pie. Another one from Miss Cutie Pie. What is your opinion on age gap couple? It depends on the age gap and how old you are. If you're 30 and your partner or ex is 40, it's probably okay. But if you're 19 and they're 33, then that might be a an issue, the age gap. I mean, yeah, generally speaking, I would say it doesn't really matter unless it's really a huge difference in age. All right. Here's one from Matthew. Hi, Brad. What happens if she gets jealous so bad and asks you to delete everyone in contacts when applying that FOMO technique you taught? She's super controlling and hysterical. Well, if she's getting jealous, that's definitely a good sign. But it also, I mean, if you're broken up, especially if she's the one who initiated the breakup and wanted to break up in the first place, yeah, I would say she really has no right to be jealous because she was the one that broke up with you. So I wouldn't change anything you're doing or, agree to delete your contacts just because she said so. She's not your boss, and you need to basically show her that if she doesn't want to get back together, then you're going to move on and talk to other girls. And yeah, there's no reason you can't do that. So obviously she has a way out of that kind of thing by taking you back, but otherwise no reason to change what you're doing. And yeah, if she's jealous, it's probably a good sign. Thank you for the question, Matthew. All right, what else we got here? Here's one from Eddie. We dated for 1.5 years. I never asked him to do anything, but he gave me flowers, took me on trips, and now he broke up with me and he calculated every penny he spent on this relationship and asked me to pay him back. I don't even know what to say. Well, Eddie, that's some bullshit if I'm honest. That's weird. It's petty. I would just ignore the question entirely. I would also question whether you really want to get back together with somebody who's sending you an invoice for the flowers you bought them during a relationship. Or they bought you. Yeah, that's crazy. That's a new one, I think, actually. At least don't get that very often. All right. Leo asks, will handwritten letter via slow mail be effective to apologize if I'm completely blocked everywhere? Yeah, Leo, I wouldn't, man, to be honest. I mean, it is a way to get around them blocking you, to send a snail mail letter with a stamp on it with an apology. But I don't really like that strategy. I don't think it's a good idea. It reeks of desperation. And honestly, I'm not sure if your ex has already blocked you everywhere else. Yeah, I'm not really sure that an apology is going to change their feelings. And if you do send it through the mail, it's a little bit weird. It comes along a little too strong. So I wouldn't do that. Thank you for the question, Leo. And if you want more help, talk about your situation, breakupbrad.com/coaching. All right. Hi, Brad. Can you talk about on and off relationships? I can. I'm not really sure what you mean by that, on and off. If you're talking about the kind of thing where you break up and get back together and break up and get back together, then, sometimes in that situation, you almost need to sort of tell your ex that I don't think we should get back together again if it's just going to lead to another breakup. And you also need to sort of think about whether this is something that you want to continue pursuing long term. If you've broken up many times and keep getting back together, it's sort of obviously something's not working. Yeah. Maybe you can clarify in the chat, Frahelis, about what you mean by talk about on and off relationships. A little more specific details will be great. All right. Let's see what else we got here. Sir, my boyfriend is breaking up with me. He's not talking with me the last 4 days. I'm trying a lot, but he didn't respond. What should I do for now? And that's from Rima. Thanks for the question, Rima. The first thing you should probably do is sign up for my X Factor program at breakupbrad.com, or at least subscribe to my channel here on YouTube and watch a bunch of my videos. I've got a playlist on my channel called The Very Best X-Back Videos or something like that. Maybe just go ahead and watch a bunch of those, because it sounds like you haven't engaged in no contact and you're sort of doing a lot of the things that I suggest you not do. So before you reach out again, definitely watch some of my other videos or sign up for my X Factor program. And I think you'll see that you definitely don't want to continue to message him if he's not responding, and you probably need to engage in a period of no contact starting as soon as possible. Good luck, Rima. Thank you for the question. All right. Let's see if we've got any other ones here. Here's one. Brad, I thought things were going well with my ex. Everything seemed to be progressing nicely, but then I took your quiz and I got a score of 62 out of 100, and it says I have a low chance of getting them back. What should I do? Yeah, thank you. The quiz that this person, there's no name here, but this question came from somebody, and they're talking about the quiz that I have for free at breakupbrad.com/quiz, which calculates your odds of getting back together, your chances of getting them back. 62 is a really quite a low score. To be honest, I would say that means your odds are pretty slim. But, I mean, I've designed the quiz and put as much thought and research into it as I possibly could. But sometimes, it's not going to be 100% accurate. You may still have a chance, but 62 is definitely not a good score. Yeah, if you want to talk more about your specific situation, get a second opinion, please sign up for coaching. But otherwise, 62 is not a great score. Typically, I would say anything below 70 out of 100 on the quiz is be ready to move on, put it that way. Anything above 85 is you're in great shape. So if you want to take that quiz for yourself, breakupbrad.com/quiz. And not only do you get a score out of 100 showing your chances of getting them back, you'll also get a bunch of personalized recommendations on what to do next to maximize your chances based on the answers to the quiz questions. So go ahead and take that if you haven't already, breakupbrad.com/quiz. Okay, what else we got here? Hi, Brad. What are your thoughts on breakups based on the seemingly irreconcilable differences? So thank you for the question, inquisitive YouTuber. If you mean like some kind of disagreement, fundamental disagreement that you've never been able to resolve. So for example, maybe you're certain you never want kids, and your partner is certain they do want kids, and that leads to a breakup because you just can't agree. I mean, unfortunately, a lot of the time, that's the kind of thing that it's almost a good reason to actually break up. It really, I guess it depends on how set both you and your ex are on whatever the irreconcilable difference is. But I mean, if it's something as fundamental and important as, you want kids, they don't, yeah, you're not willing to move to wherever they live because you're apart right now, and those kinds of serious major issues that have no easy resolution are some of the situations where it's sort of, you have to decide if you really are willing to ever change your stance on that topic. And if not, then you need to really think about whether the relationship actually has a future. So yeah, I hope that helps a bit. All right, I'm just going to go back to the poll here for a second. Maybe Mike can pull a couple more from Instagram, or you guys can ask. If I haven't answered your question already, please go ahead and ask it now. I'm going to do a few more. So yeah, if you haven't heard me answer yours, please ask again, and Mike will pull it for me. But looking at the poll, it looks like it's actually pretty close. 18% broke up in the last 2 weeks, 33% in the past 2 months. So if you're in that 53% or whatever of the poll voters, and it's been less than 2 months since your breakup, good job. Glad you found me and sought out some advice early on after the breakup, because that's definitely going to increase your chances. And if you're like I said earlier, if you're in the 30% that broke up more than 6 months ago, well, you may still have a chance. Take the quiz, see how dire things are. But yeah, sometimes it can work out. Let's see what else we got here. Here's one from Terry. He divorced and then said he wanted to chase me like a fox hunt, and we talked for a few months, and then he disappeared. What do I do? I'm sorry to hear that, Terry. I mean, divorces are tough. to be honest, without knowing more, I can't really give you a good answer. But I would say, generally speaking, yeah, I mean, a divorce is pretty final. It's pretty hard to undo. If he's not talking to you at all, he's disappeared for months, I would suggest, Terry, that it's probably worth just moving on. At the very least, I would, yeah, you can keep the door open to possibly getting him back, but divorce and all the legal paperwork and things like that go on with a divorce, it makes it pretty unlikely that things are going to work out. But sorry to be the bearer of bad news. Good luck. All right. So here's one from Gavin. So I kept watching your videos and I saw you mention the clean slate message. You said to send this after 7 days, but my ex specifically said that she wants no contact and that I need to respect that. Should I skip this step? Yeah, so Gavin, thanks for the question. The clean slate message, which is something you can learn a lot about in my X Factor program at breakupbrad.com, or I think I made a video about this about a year ago. But basically that clean slate message is specifically designed to help undo a lot of past mistakes. So if you've got it all wrong for the first 2 months after breaking up, and you feel like you really need to sort of undo some of those wrongs, those are the only kinds of situations where you actually do need to send a clean slate message. In your situation, if she's specifically saying that she doesn't want to hear from you, I wouldn't send the clean slate message. In fact, I wouldn't send any message at all, because I think that's a stronger signal to send to your ex than to try and send the clean slate message. So yeah, my recommendation, Gavin, is just skip that step, yes, and just stick with no contact, because she's clearly wants some space. So thanks for the question. Good luck. All right, what else we got here? I think I'll do 3 more, guys. So thank you for sticking with me. And if I don't get to answer your questions here on the live, please leave them in the comments below this video once it's posted on YouTube as a regular video, and I will come back and do my best to answer the ones that I missed. But here's one from Diane. Diane is in a long-distance relationship, broke up over a year ago. It was his idea. He still calls and texts every day. She says, I'm now talking to a new guy, and he brings up the new guy in most of our conversations. What do you think? Well, Diane, a year is a long time, especially in a long-distance relationship. But the fact that he's calling and texting you every day and he's bringing up this new guy, it's definitely a sign that he's still into you, still at least somewhat interested. I mean, I certainly wouldn't stop talking to this new guy. I think you need to leave your options open. But yeah, it's clear that there's still some interest. If you still want him back, you can sort of continue the conversation. Yeah, I'm not really. I think I need a little bit more detail about your situation, proper answer. But I do think if you start hearing your message calling me every day, there's interest there. So please go to breakup coaching. Sign up for a month. Tell me more about your situation. You have a more thorough answer. Great. Can you share some of your crazy, extreme, and toughest cases you've experienced from Matthew? Unfortunately, I can't share a lot of details about my clients just for privacy reasons, confidentiality. But I've certainly seen some crazy stuff. Restraining orders, showing up the day before their ex is going to get married to somebody else. I had one client who showed up at their ex's doorstep, but the day before they were due to get married, to try and convince them not to get married and take them back. That was a weird one. Please don't do that. But yeah, I think I actually made a video about some of the worst case scenarios that some of my clients have faced in the past. So check out my channel and see if you can find that for some more ones. But anything involving a restraining order, please, I'm sorry, it's over. Please move on. All right. Oh, I'm getting messages here that are saying I'm getting mic distortion. But that's probably actually a good reason to call it here. If Mike, is it still not working? Okay. Mike says it's okay now. So maybe we'll do one more question, assuming the mic is still working, and then we will call it. And like I said, please leave your questions that I don't get a chance to answer or haven't answered yet in the comments on this video. It'll be live on my channel in, I think, an hour or two after this ends. And I will do my best. I'll come back tomorrow and just try to get through some of the ones that you guys leave in the comments on this video on YouTube. Last question here. Let's find one more. How do you build rapport if they are angry even though you was dumped? Yeah, I mean, I think I'm going to need a little bit more detail to answer that properly, Michael. Thank you for the question. But if they're angry at you and you haven't done no contact yet, I would definitely start there. You need to let those emotions fade from your ex and get them back to what I call an emotional neutral state before you can really build any kind of rapport. Yeah, it depends on why they're angry at you. If you did something really nasty to them that led to them to be angry, then yeah, the time apart and giving them space is going to be even more important. So yeah, hopefully the mic issues didn't happen too long ago, and that you guys were able to hear me for most of the video. Thank you so much for asking your questions and for joining me, guys. If I didn't get to them, like I said, please leave them in the comments below when this video goes live, and I will answer them there. And thank you so much for subscribing and for joining me today from all around the world. And yeah, I think we'll call it there. Thanks for your support, guys. We will talk to you. I'll do another one of these again in a month or two. So thanks for coming on. We'll see you guys there.